Good evening, Ryker fans. This is Ryker Ferg coming to you after work hours here in Hawaii. It's about 1600. Sitting at the job because I have no internet. I'm moving the houses, so this is why I'm sitting at the job. But anyways, I wanted to talk to you about something: it's military health care. So I've been seeing a lot of stuff, YouTube videos, TikTok videos on my Facebook feed, and one of this PA, Kunz is her last name. I'm gonna tag her in this video. She's a PA. She was talking about women's health in the military, and that's cool. Yeah, it is cool. I'm glad they're focusing on that. But the problem is they need to focus on everyone's health care in the military. Military health care is substandard. It really is. There are so many biases in it. For one, if you're not a certain rank, you don't get the certain care. The other bias they have is a lot of these hospitals they send you to, they're just testing or learning or whatever just to put you out in the field. What's the easiest way they can get you back to full active status so you can be back in the fight kind of care. They don't really fix the problem, they just put a bandage on it. And the biggest one I have is they misdiagnose so many times and they don't care. Little story on me, I went 13 years with a torn ACL and it hindered my career. A lot of people thought I was malignant and I wasn't. Another issue too, like I was saying, rank. So if your biggest bias you too is like senior NCOs get better care than junior enlisted personnel. Officers get better care than NCOs, junior NCOs, and senior NCOs. And then they go by the weight chart. A lot of my issue with my ACL, they said I had to be 180. There's no way I could be 180. The lowest I weighed was 200 pounds in the military, and I was 18% body fat by the tape. And according to their BMI chart, I was too heavy. I actually had a doctor, after he looked at me, he said, "There's no way you're gonna be 180. You'll die." And I was getting 300s on my PRT test. So if that tells you anything, 300 is the max. And I was physically fit. This one was stationed at K-Bay, Hawaii. Worked the Marine. So that being said, it is really a sore subject for me because the stuff that military personnel like myself went through, because either the rank we are, the weight we're sitting at, we don't get the care we deserve. I literally was told because my rotator cuff was torn, you can live with it. I was denied surgery for it. And it come when I retired and I couldn't lift my arm anymore to get a cup out of cover to make my coffee. I was retired. I finally went to the doctor, an orthopedic surgeon in Michigan, Nicholas Loafman. If you ever go see him, he's awesome. He works in Niles in St. Joseph. He looked at the MRI and said, "Yeah, you need surgery." Goes in there, repairs it, and finds 2 bone spurs, and then my bicep was detached. And this is literally, so I retired in December 2018. They denied me surgery, what was that? I want to say mid-August? Yeah, it was mid-August when I saw that last guy, Captain, I forget his name, some kind of captain, a colonel, for you personnel that were not in the Navy. Full bird colonel. And then they find that. So it wasn't a small full thickness tear. It would turned out to be a large full thickness tear with 2 bone spurs and a detached bicep. And when they sent, so when I first discovered it, the MRI showed a full thickness tear. And then so they did physical therapist, and the physical therapist says, "We'll try this, but I think you need surgery." So she kept me. So I've when did I have the MRI? I think May. Yeah, I think it was May. So we did. No, I think it was sooner than that. Anyways, I did 3 months of physical therapy. She was like, "Yeah, there's no more I can do." It helped me do some improvement, but not much. She said, "If anything, I made you strong enough for surgery," and she did. If I went through it right then, I would have been probably did a little bit better. Um, but she was like, "Yeah, there's nothing more I can do." And then they shot into my. I guess there's some kind of sac up in there. And the guy that did the shot for the sac, he's like, I was in more pain than he's like, "I don't know what's wrong with you. You need some kind of surgery because usually with these shots, people get relief, and there was no relief." So after that, his doctor was like, "No, no, you don't need no shot. You can live with this pain." I'm like, "What?" And so I said, "I need a second opinion." And this doc was helping me with my knees, thinking I had arthritis, and I just had to push through until old enough to get a knee replacement. And I was on Synvis shots then, and they were working. Of course, I was just tearing my ACL more and more and more and more, but not realizing I was just masking the pain again. Just putting the band-aid on. Remember, I said band-aid. So fast forward, and I get the second opinion. He's like, "Oh, I don't, blah blah blah." Right. So I literally have surgery 6 months after that follow-up. Torn rotator cuff. He's like, "Yeah, found 2 bone spurs. Your bicep was detached. 2 hour surgery. Yep, 2 hour surgery. Now, good to go. No issues after that. Best choice of my life." But according to those 2 doctors, military doctors, I could live with it. Okay, so that's one case. Now let's talk about my knees. So in '07, between yeah, it was 2007. It was 2007. I was uh, I was stationed here in Hawaii when I was 24, running up. So in the Marine Corps, E6 is staff NCO. So I was first class E6. We had to run what they call Sergeant Major Staff NCO PT, and they made us run. So we had what they call boots and utes. Basically, you Marines know what I'm talking about. I was watching my channel. Navy guys do too. So I had to put on Navy. We didn't have camis. Even though I was stationed with Marines, we still were wearing utilities. So they gave us cami pants and some combat boot, or actually we just used our regular standard boots that we got. So we'll just run with our boots, and then they supply sergeant gave us from Mouse gave us some cami pants. So we were running up this hill, but Sergeant Major Smith decided to make us run up and down this mountain or hill. It's not a mountain, but it's kind of big. It's called the KT Hill over in K Bay. Sits right over there past the John Finn building over there by the P3. People PT up and down it all the time. It has that radar dish on it. So he decides to make us run up and down it in formation, which you're not supposed to, but he did. As we were coming down, I tripped. I don't know if I tripped on a rock or a person in front of me. I can't remember that well. Oh, we wasn't at the very top, but we were more closer to the bottom. I rolled down it, scuffed up, more humiliated than anything. But my buddy helped me up. They checked on me. They just told me to walk back. Sergeant Major Smith told me, "Yeah, you're good. Just walk back." I think he was more humiliated too, realizing, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have made him running down in formation because he knew it was wrong. So I walked back to the PT area where we man up, jumped in my truck, drove home, took a shower. It was a Friday anyway, so I iced it. Well, no, I went to work. Sorry. My chief just told me to go home. He said, "Yes, you failed. Just go on home. There's nothing else to do to work today." I said, "All right, cool." Stayed home. I said the rest of the weekend. I called them Monday. Say, "Hey, I'm going to medical. It's still hurting." Medical at the time said, "It looks like you bruised it. Just take it easy." Gave me a light lemon duty, and I believed him. It felt like it was bruised. I mean, it was. I rolled down maybe 10, 20 feet, if that. So there's nothing. I didn't doubt I didn't bruise it at all. Well, after 2 weeks, it still wasn't healing. So I went back. Oh, it's just tendonitis or runner's knee or whatever you want to call it. I forget what that term is. So they made me go to physical therapy. I stayed in physical therapy for that knee from '07 to 2018 when I retired. And it caused my left knee to start hurting. I'm like, at one point in '08, I told them, "I'm done with this pain in my knee. I want an MRI." So they MRI'd my knee, and they said there's nothing wrong with it. I'm like, this is horse shit. So after that, I got stationed in Lemoore, working for Squadron. During that process, they put me more in physical therapy. This time it's both knees, making me wear braces when I'm running and PTing. And they're giving me high dollar braces. I mean, these braces are like $1,200. You can look them up. I mean, they're expensive braces. And it masks the pain. Like again, masks the pain. Now it's for both knees now. And I couldn't run no more, but so that made me look bad on my evals. I always had to do the bike, low impact. And he said, "Hey, so when it's time for certain kinds of special events, when you got board eligible for E7 and stuff, somebody couldn't run during that time, got looked at in a different light, and due to that fact, it affected my evals. It got held back. People were jumping over me. Even though I brought the paperwork, the limited duty chits. At one point, people thought I should get medically separated, but I could still do the other PRT events, so that's why they couldn't do it. I could still do my job. I could still do this. I just couldn't run. So, because the squad never went to the boat, I was able to continue on, even though I did the last deployment kind of worked in my favor. I was able to get around that. Alright, then get to Italy. Worked around that one too. Yeah, you're not supposed to go overseas. Bad knees, but I was able to do it. MRI still showed nothing. I think it was in there. I think they didn't see it because of the translation language barrier. But anyways, gave me a whole bunch of shots. That's when they started introducing Civis to me. Was on those from 2015 to 2021. That's when they finally did the surgery. But Fast forward to 2021. So I get to Oklahoma, I'm a GS person now, and I'm just like, this knee pain is done, man. I'm just tired. These shots ain't working. Blah blah blah. And they order MRIs. Well, the doctor after the X-ray, he says, this is just arthritis. You're fine. You're fine. You're fine. He gets MRIs. The MRI person reads both my MRIs. I mean, this isn't a new like cool machine, man. This MRI machine was pretty cool. Like half moon shape. I have room. I mean, like it was a pretty cool machine. He looks at me and says, "Well, I don't know what this guy sees, but he says you got both your knees ACLs are torn. The right one, I kind of agree with him, but the left one, I'm not so sure. But I can't disagree. I can see the right one. It is torn. I can't tell how bad. Left one, I can't tell. I don't know if you have that special, like, I can't tell. I said, okay, let's do this. Let's go on the left one first. Since you're saying that it's a difficult surgery. He said, yup. And that's what he did. So he went into the left one. ACL was fine. I have one of those weird ACLs that has a split down the center. It's not torn. It was that split he was seeing at a radiologist. But my knee was covered in arthritis. Just like so bad. So he had to clean a lot of that out. Recovered from that surgery a month and a half later, April. So that was in January. A month and a half later, in April, he goes in and does the right knee. My ACL was only 2 fibers left. So he put a cadaver ACL into me from a 14-year-old. I'm sorry about that. Whoever kid that was, God rest his or her soul, but thank you for their ACL and their donation. He made a point to come and see me in recovery and said, I don't know how you were walking, but your ACL, yeah, it was destroyed. I said, well, how long does that take? And he said, that's years of it being misdiagnosed. I said, I don't know how. He goes, what were you on? I said, Simvix shots and one time cortisone. He said, that makes sense. And they took a Baker cyst out. He said the cyst was huge too from all the shots. I said, that makes sense because every time they shoot me up with shots, it will hurt. He goes, that makes sense too. So after they clean all that, my right knee's awesome. So fast forward now, 2020, 23. Around January, my left knee starts hurting again. And I had no knee problems until then. 21, I had my 2 knee surgeries. 3 knee surgeries. 3. They had to go back on my left knee and clean it back out. Because he went, checked the knee, cleaned a little bit out, went back and cleaned it some more out. So I had 2 knee surgeries on the left knee and 1 on the right knee. Yeah, in 21. Yep, that's right. So in 23, my left knee started hurting again, off and on. I was like, man, there's something wrong with my left knee. Right knee's fine, still fine. He goes, so I do an MRI, tore my meniscus. Oh crap, right? So they clean it out, clean out my arthritis. Good to go. Get stationed here in Hawaii. January of last year, 24. Start going to my doctor. Say, hey, my knee's hurting. So, because I'm on military, you can throw a rock and hit a military base. Military treatment facility. So they have to send me to. I can't go out in town. I should have went to the VA first, but that's besides the point. I was using my TRICARE benefits. I go see this doctor. He's like, I'm gonna give you cortisone shots. with Synvis hydrocortisone, whatever you want to call it, still Synvis. I said, okay, whatever. I said, I think there's something else wrong. I've already had these knee surgeries. I brought him all my information. And he goes, oh, let's just restart the clock. I'm like, why? And so he did. And 2 days later, I fell and busted my eye open, broke my glasses. Write him an email saying, hey, the shot didn't work. This is what happened. Knee gave out, did all this. Orders MRI. MRI says there's nothing wrong, a little bit of fluid on my knee, blah, blah, blah. Come back and see me. Came back and see him. Let's do another shot. When I say this shot did not work again, I literally, he had to take, so, you know, on those doctor tables, he literally grabbed, I'm trying to get off, and he grabbed me, and I almost fall and bust my face again. I said, Doc, see, they're not working. And he just like this. He said, let's just give it a day. He goes, I'm transferring out anyways. My new relief, his reservist, is going to be here, and let's see what she says. Maybe she got some better plan. I said, okay. I don't know what you want to do. I said, I know my knees. This is this crappy military medicine that y'all do on us. He just looked at me when I said that, too. So she comes in. I see her. And I just throw my whole record at her. I say, you know what? This is what I've been through out in real world. They're saying this stuff. And she's like, oh, that's just money. I said, well, you know what? It gave me relief. I don't know how that's just money. And she just looked at me crazy. I said, I'm done with all this conservative treatment. I need to speak to a surgeon. So she's put me for physical therapy. And she goes, I don't know if they'll approve you, but I'll send the request in. And they approved me. So, but I'm doing physical therapy in the meantime. I said, okay, I can handle that. I do it. So I see him. So I go see the orthopedic surgeon at Tripler. The first, I go see their nurse practitioner. This dude tells me he's going to give me a diagnostic shot to see if it's in my head or my knee. I'm like, what? What do you mean in my head? Like, I'm telling you what's wrong with my knee. What is that to tell? So I'm like, this. So I was like, yeah, go ahead, give me the shot. He gave me a shot. And I explained, oh, it's not in your head. No, dude. So he signs me up with Dr. Batani from Tripler. I see him the first time. The first visit wasn't too bad. He just says, you're in a lot of pain. I can't really evaluate you. Blah, blah, blah. I'm going to sign you up for pain management. So I go see pain management. They sign me up for some treatment. But the treatment, I'm thinking, is a treatment they use to help you, right? This dude, Dr. Powell, says they usually, is like, are you replacing your knee? He asked me 3 times, are they replacing your knee? Are you replacing your knee? I said, no. I said, okay, I guess I'll still do it then. According to find out, that treatment is they do it after they do the knee replacement. So they're kind of putting the cart before the horse. It's called radial ablation. Basically, they put these needles in they use this like a X-ray machine, and they pinpoint your nerves and they burn your nerves with or not the burn one. It's where they inject like block into your nerves. So it did not take at all. So when it did not hold at all. So when I literally came back, and I said within the same day it did not work at all, and I told him it did not work. So he's like, yeah, you need surgery. He even wrote that down. I recommend surgery for this patient. There is no, or I don't not recommend, I recommend orthopedic surgeon look into surgical options. That's how you say options, sorry. So I took it back to Dr. Batani. He's like, there's nothing I can do for you. After him and his little team, his team was kept saying, oh, you didn't like it, you didn't like it, you like it. No, there was nothing to like about it. It didn't work. Are you not listening to me? It did not work. And that's the issue with military care. They don't listen to you. They rush you out. It's about numbers. How many people they can see. There's no training. There's no patient care. There is not. They don't see you as a patient. They see you as a number. And that's not how it should be. We serve the greatest nation in America. Our care should be the most efficient, the most accurate, and the most highly successful care that you can get. The military care, we should not have veterans coming out of the military with disabilities like mine that render us virtually permanently handicapped for the rest of our life. I literally, after all this, got to the VA. I went through the VA. I got tired of this. Went through the VA. Went through them. They recommended to Dr. Lim, orthopedic surgeon on this island. He reconstructed my knee with cartilage that is grown in the lab. And I'm going through that healing process right now. It's going to take me a year to get healed, which is fine. I'm cool with that. Tripler offers that. And after I showed them and oh, by the way, when they did the biopsy to get the cartilage, his PA said they had to drain a lot of, remember that fluid I told you about? Had to drain a lot of fluid out of my knee to get to the cartilage. That fluid that wasn't supposedly there, that was there. And then when I sent the pictures and the surgical report back to Dr. Vitani, Tripler called me to ask me to stop looking for legal advice and have them do the surgery. Because they do it. But because of my rank, like I said, certain care and certain biases they do, yes, it's true. It is. You can't deny it. I know it's true. A lot of vets will tell you this too. They didn't offer it to me. That should have been the first thing on the table. Because when Dr. Lim looked at my MRI, he saw cartilage damage. When Dr. Batani's boss looked at my MRI, he saw cartilage damage and recommended cartilage repair. But because of me and Dr. Batani's relationship, after I submitted an ICE complaint, he recommended me to go through the VA. That's what I'm talking about. The care is subpar. Yeah, it's good to focus on women's rights and women's health and all that stuff. I'm all for it. Yes, do it. But we need to fix the whole healthcare system in general. Too many veterans are dying, suffering, because of active duty military subpar care. And that's the issue. There's a Correlation of Heroes group I've been working with a little bit off and on here. And the president's story is traumatic. What she went through when she was active duty. I'm not going to tell it because that's her business. If you go to her website, Coalition of Heroes, you'll see it. That's what I'm talking about. That kind of care is subpar. You should never, Any service member, on active duty, reservist, or National Guard, doesn't matter. If you're wearing, you put that uniform on to go serve this country, you should get the best care in the world. The best care. There should be nobody that gets better care than us. Nobody. Besides the president. But that's not how it happens. I'm going to be honest with you. Prisoners get better care than us. If you don't believe me, I don't care. I've seen it. I almost died because of a procedure. I had acid reflux. And they said it was because of my weight. I wasn't overweight. I was 215 pounds. I was puking up blood. Had a tumor in my stomach. Well, military doctors just didn't listen to me. Finally got a good military doctor to refer me out in town. He sent me to a general surgeon. He pulled a tumor out of my stomach and told me I had about 10 years left if I didn't get that surgery. That's what I'm talking about. And while I was in his hospital, that same doctor, prisoners were coming to see him. Prisoners were going to see this doctor. For regular checkups. That's why Hanford County prisoners were going to Arvis General for their checkups. So you can't tell me they got I've seen it and I know it exists. Most military hospitals are doctors in training. Tripler is called a learning hospital for a reason. They aka called Crippler. A lot of military hospitals are called that for a reason. And they don't care. It's going to take an act of Congress to fix this. And even when they do the act of Congress, Congress lets it slide by. Because everybody has a mindset saying military gets the best treatment when we don't. Everybody needs to realize military gets subpar treatment when it comes to food on deployments, and healthcare. Ryker fans, spread the word. Move. Help me get this out there so we can fix this military healthcare system. Let's make a movement. Fix military healthcare. Our active duty reservists and National Guard servicemen, men and women, deserve it. Stop having disabled people like myself. The money's nice, but it doesn't fix the quality of life. Ryker Ferg out.